What's good, my people? Welcome back to EMGM Sports. It's your boy Enzo. I hope everyone is doing well. I'm back with another one. Now, if you watched my last video on Saul Canelo Alvarez, I done a post-fight review on his fight against Edgar Berlanga. Now, that was a great performance, dominating performance by Canelo. I mean, Berlanga did put on a fight. In fact, he put in a fight, that most people wasn't expected. He lasted. He got dropped in the third round with a left hook by Canelo, but he hanged in there. But let's just be honest, like Canelo was a different class, a class above. Canelo's more elite, and he dominated that fight. It was, I wouldn't say comfortable, but do you know what I mean? Canelo was cruising through that fight, and he got the unanimous decision and defended his. He defended his unified middle superweight championship belts. Like he defended his titles. He's good. He moves on to the next one. Now that's my question for today. Really, is who's next for Canelo? What's next? Do you know what I mean? What more can he accomplish? Because when we're talking about a fighter like Canelo, like this guy is elite. We have to remember when he turned pro, he was so young. The early setbacks in his career, like fighting Floyd Mayweather, being dominated by Mayweather. In fact, being schooled by Mayweather, like the lessons that he took from that, the lessons he picked up really propelled him to be the Canelo Alvarez that we know today. And he's been on a crazy run, crazy streak. Like he's only lost 2 fights out of 64 fights. Yeah, he's lost 2 fights. Sorry, out of 66 fights, Canelo's lost 2 fights, and I think he's got a draw, one draw in that against Gennady Golovkin in their first fight. So you have to say that's very impressive. And how Canelo stays motivated to keep on coming back, year after year, taking on, some killers, man. Let's be honest, let's be real here. Canelo is one of those fighters you can't accuse him of ducking because he's fought young champions, he's fought older champions, he's fought everyone. Big, small, like size hasn't really mattered to Canelo. Like he's for everyone. He's a 4-time, he's a 4 different weight division champion. Like he's done it all. He's the unified super middleweight champion of the world. Like this guy is just incredible, and he's got great skill set. He is elite when it comes to boxing. Canelo right now, for me, really, he's the superstar. One thing I really admire about Canelo, like, is his determination. Do you know what I mean? Like, is the ability to keep on challenging himself. Like, obviously, look, he's had a few controversies in his career, like, with the drug testing when it came to the Golovkin Triple G fight, and we know the meat was it contaminated. The whole story and what happened with that. But for someone to still be coming back, still have that motivation, the determination, do you know what I mean? To be taking on challenges, whether new challenges, up and coming fighters that are calling him out, he's taking on them. He's moving up heavy, to the heavier divisions. He went all the way up to light heavy, won a belt there. Do you know what I mean? Unfortunately, he lost against Bivol, who to me is one of the best fighters right now in boxing. Like he's very skilled. So for me, Canelo's like, I look around the boxing scene right now. I look at some of the fighters. I'm sure you guys and girls can help me in the comments if you can name a few fighters that you think Canelo can take on right now. But if I look at the divisions below Canelo and above, I'm like, there's not really much options for these guys. Do you know what I mean? For Canelo, there's not many options. There's not really outstanding names out there. People are saying Benavides, Canelo's ducking Benavides. I honestly think that Canelo dispatched Benavides. You know what I mean? I've seen Benavides, the way he fights, and he leaves himself open. He takes a lot of punches, and the last person you want catching you like that is Canelo. Like, if you're open, if your guard's not high enough, if you leave yourself open all the time, Canelo will definitely punish you. He'll punish you. And Canelo, come on, let's be real here. Canelo's faced some killers, man. He's faced some killers. Like, seriously, I saw something online about some of the fighters that Canelo has taken on, and I'm just gonna read out some of the names. If a lot of you people that are watching this video right now, you're not familiar with Saul Canelo Alvarez and some of their opponents, like some of the opponents that he's fought in the past, like familiar. I want to read some of the names out, and some of the names in here are Hall of Famers, future Hall of Famers, some of the greatest boxers of all time, and Canelo has taken on all of them, yeah. And Canelo is only 34 years old. You have to remember that Canelo is 34 years old. Canelo is younger than Terrence Crawford. I think Terrence Crawford is 36. Canelo is younger than him. So can you just imagine that the level of achievement that Canelo has able to obtain in boxing is like, it's just fantastic. Like, I'm just gonna read out some of the names, yeah, some of the great opponents that Canelo has taken on, like in his whole career. So it's at 66 fights, yeah. Here are some of the names that some of the fighters that Canelo has taken on. So Canelo, obviously, you all know he fought Floyd Money Mayweather. He's fought Triple G. They had a trilogy, 3 fights. The first fight, very controversial. A lot of people thought Triple G won that, which I thought, I honestly thought, you know, from the bottom of my heart. As much as I'm a big Canelo fan, I thought Triple G took that first fight. The second fight against Triple G was a bit more closer. It could have it could have gone either way. Canelo took that. And on the third fight, obviously Triple G was already a bit old, innit? Like, he was a bit slower. It wasn't the same Triple G that it was 5, 6 years ago. So Canelo won that comfortably. Canelo won that absolutely comfortably. So yeah, we've got now who's he for? So we're going back to the list. Money Floyd Mayweather, he fought Triple G. Sergey Kovalev. A lot of people forget this. Like, people like Canelo fought Sergey Kovalev at light heavy and won the belt, and he defeated him. Some people might say, Kovalev wasn't the same fighter after Andrew Ward dispatched him, but still, to go up to light heavy and defeat that Russian monster, which was Sergey Kovalev, that's not an easy feat, man. A lot of fighters were not able to beat Kovalev. So we go down the list. We go Dimitri Bivol, obviously, against Dimitri Bivol. We all know Canelo faces challenges, and Dimitri Bivol is so skilled that the jab and the movement, and he proved too good, too skilled for Canelo. That was actually the first fight I've ever seen, yeah, after the Mayweather, like after the Mayweather, where Canelo actually got schooled in it. Do you know what I mean? He found the range difficult. He found it hard to get on the inside. Dimitri Bivol just didn't give Canelo the opportunity to even lay a glove on him. It wasn't as competitive a fight as all of us thought it would be. So Canelo, yeah, he might want to take that back actually. But let's carry on going down that list. Daniel Jacobs. Canelo took on Daniel Jacobs. Daniel Jacobs is now retired, but definitely he's a stud, man. Tough fighter. Hard as nails. Daniel Jacobs always came A game. You know what I mean? He was swinging punches and everything. And I have to say that in that fight, Canelo outclassed Daniel Jacobs. Daniel Jacobs just couldn't land on Canelo. Do you know what I mean? Like, he was missing. And he got to the point in the fight where he actually got disheartened, where he didn't even want to carry on. So that's how skilled Canelo is, making someone like a Daniel Jacobs, who actually gave Triple G a solid fight. Like, that was a close fight when Daniel Jacobs took on Triple G. But Canelo just nullified him and just made him look ordinary. Who else? Canelo took on Shane Mosley. What a fight that was. I actually remember, like, it's actually one of the early fights I was watching Canelo, and he took on Shane Mosley. At that time, again, Shane Mosley, a little bit passed by his sell on date, you know what I mean? He was a bit older. He already fought Floyd Mayweather, so when he took on Canelo, it was still a stiff test for Canelo, Don't get it twisted. Like, that was a hard fight for Canelo. Like, Canelo, he learned a lot of lessons after fighting Shane Mosley, because Shane Mosley, more experienced, the older fighter, he was coming forward, really gave Canelo a test. But Canelo was able to overcome all that pressure and still win the fight. Do you know what I mean? Even at a young age of 21, 22, Canelo already had that great character. Do you know what I mean? He already had that determination. So let's move on now. Who we go? Jermell Charlo. He fought Jermell Charlo, one of the twins. Again, I feel that was a comfortable victory. Jermell Charlo was kind of there to just survive, and he was probably there for the payday. He was never going to beat Canelo, so I think brush that aside, forget about that. Caleb Plant, he fought Caleb Plant. I think that was a good fight. That was a good fight. Caleb Plant was doing really well in the early rounds, really well, and then he just got a bit fatigued and he was knocked out in that fight. Miguel Cotto. Canelo Alvarez fought Miguel Cotto. Like, Miguel Cotto, he's, Hall of Famer. Do you know what I mean? Like, one of the best ever, in a 145-pound, sorry, 147-pound division. Do you know what I mean? He's one of the greatest. Miguel Cotto, stud, tough as nails, tough as they come. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's solid. And yeah, that was a good fight for Canelo. Do you know what I mean? But again, Canelo too strong, man. Too strong for Cotto. He fought Irislandi Lara. I remember Lara. Lara at that time when Canelo fought him. Actually, Lara was in his pomp. Do you know what I mean? Lara was in his pomp. And I thought that was going to be a tricky fight, and it was. It wasn't an easy fight for Canelo. A lot of challenges in that, but again, he was able to overcome those fights as well. Billy Joe Saunders, most recently, Billy Joe Saunders, he was undefeated in that fight against Canelo. But as we know, Billy Joe Saunders, I think it was like a broken eye socket. You know, he retired on his stool. He couldn't carry on. And a lot of people thought Billy Joe Saunders would be very tough for Canelo. He's a southpaw. I actually thought Billy Joe Saunders would be very tough. But again, Canelo just showed his class, innit? Canelo just showed his class. Canelo Alvarez also fought Amir Khan. Now, when that fight was announced, yeah, I remember hearing about that fight. I was like, whoa, like that's a bit left, isn't it? That caught everyone off guard when Amir Khan. I mean, Amir Khan's like a lightweight. Do you know what I mean? Like 140 pounds. He moved up to welterweight, 147 pounds. But for him to go up to 154 to take on Canelo was always risky now. And also, especially because people say that Amir Khan has a glass jaw. Do you know what I mean? He's very chinny. You know, when you hit him on a button, he starts doing the chicken dance. And I was always wondering, Canelo's gonna dispatch this guy quite quickly. But to be fair to Amir Khan though, again, early rounds in that fight, Amir Khan was quick. Do you know what I mean? One thing Amir Khan does have is speed. He was catching Canelo a lot with the jab and the combinations. He was so quick because he was fresh. The first 4 rounds, Amir Khan was very fresh, but Canelo just stuck to his task, and he just kept tagging him, going to the body, tagging him, and eventually, as the rounds went on, Amir Khan got a little bit tired and got complacent, started dropping his hands. That's when Canelo just clipped him, and it was one of the most brutal knockouts of all time. Like I ask you, yeah, go back and watch that clip, Amir Khan versus Canelo Alvarez. The way Canelo Alvarez dropped him, yeah, that it was crazy. Like even Canelo like went on his knees and said, "Please," he was begging Amir Khan, "Please don't die." Do you know what I mean? Like, please don't die. Like, please wake up. Do you know what I mean? So, but again, salute, man, respect to Amir Khan for taking such a dangerous fight against a heavy hitter like Saul Alvarez. You know what I mean? And yeah, man, like I said, the list of the names I just mentioned there, I just dropped to you there. Like, just shows the greatness of Canelo. Such a competitive athlete, always wanting to take on new challenges. You know what I mean? You can't accuse Canelo of ducking anyone. Do you know what I mean? He's done it all. Do you know what I mean? He's definitely, even at 34 years old, with everything that he's accomplished, future Hall of Famer. Do you know what I mean? Future Hall of Famer. Four division weight champion. Come on, you can't take that away from him. The kid, I mean, he's solid. He's done a lot of things. And one thing I also admire about Canelo Alvarez, which a lot of people don't really shed light on, like how many times have you seen Canelo Alvarez hurt in a fight? Like he's never been dropped. Do you know what I mean? He's never been dropped in any fight, and I've never seen him hurt. He takes the shot so well, even against someone like a Triple G. At that time, Triple G was in his pump. He had some power on both hands, yeah. And he hit Canelo flush. I mean, flush to the right here, to the jaw. Canelo just took it. Do you know what I mean? And kept coming back forward. Like, that is incredible. That's amazing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you gotta look at that and just say, what an incredible fight this guy is. And at 34 years old, he's still going strong. He never let any defeat, like, kind of like make him question himself and his ability. And, and you never hear Canelo talking about retirement. This guy just wants to go on and on and on. And I feel like his fighting style, the way he fights and the way he looks after himself, he's probably got a couple more fights. Now, the big talk was for him to take on Terrence Crawford. Now, after Crawford's last performance at 154 against Modrimov, is it? Yeah, Modrimov. Like, listen, no one here wants to see that fight. Like Terrence Crawford's last performance, he did not look convincing moving up a weight to 154. He lacked the power. He just wasn't stable. He couldn't let his usual combination go, the usual Terrence Crawford that we know. It just wasn't him. And I feel like after that performance and what we've seen from Canelo, and obviously Canelo's previous fights, especially in the light heavyweight division, and do you know what I mean? Like, that fight is not happening. Canelo Alvarez will not be taking on Terrence Crawford. And for me personally, as a fan of Terrence Crawford, he's in my top 5 pound for pound of all time, greatest boxers of all time. I don't want to see Terrence Crawford against Canelo Alvarez because I feel like it will end bad. I feel like Terrence Crawford will get hurt in that fight. I don't want to see him there. I just feel like at this moment in time, Canelo is too big, too strong, and Terrence Crawford struggled with the weight at 154. He struggled with that weight. So I want to see Terrence Crawford go back to 147 and reign supreme over there. Leave Canelo the hell alone now. They only have a fighter that's viable, that will make commercial sense, that might get us, their fans, boxing fans excited, get our juices flowing, and buy the pay-per-views, is Dimitri Bivol. If Dimitri Bivol comes through his fight against Beterbiev, if he wins that belt, unifies the division, then I can see him and Canelo clashing again in 2025. That'll be a hell of a fight. Crazy fight, do you know what I mean? And Canelo, I know, like, he's hungry. He wants to get that back because I've heard him mentioning it. He wants to get that Bivol fight back. Do you know what I mean? He feels like he can do better. It looked like he had a bit of an off night that when he fought Dimitri Bivol. Look, not taking away nothing away from Dimitri Bivol. Is a great fighter. He's a hell of a fighter. Like, super, super talented. One of the best fighters right now. But Canelo did look a little bit off. So I know Canelo definitely wants to take that back. And that's a fight that I would like to see, because I don't really see in the divisions who also really get my juices flowing that's going to fight Canelo. A lot of people are talking about Benavidez. I get it. But again, I just feel like that's going to be an easier fight for Canelo. I feel like Dimitri Bivol definitely will be a tougher challenge if he gets through against his fight with Beterbiev. Because again, Beterbiev is a solid fighter, undefeated, man. Bivol and Beterbiev are both undefeated, so that's gonna be a crazy fight, a tough fight. It just depends. For me personally, in that fight, it depends on who's gonna establish the jab. Whoever can establish the jab quicker than the other person, I think wins that fight, because I just feel like both fighters have a great jab, and the winner from that, they could take on Canelo. Let me know what you think in the comments. Who do you think should be Canelo's next opponent? Let me know in the comments. Get involved. I'll really appreciate that. Once again, thank you very much for watching EMGM Sports. It's your boy Enzo. Until the next one, peace.